Howdy y'all and welcome. I hope everybody's doing well out there so far. Since last time we were on here, Erin was a tropical storm and it rapidly intensified into a Category 5 hurricane. And now it has winds of right around 105 mile an hour, which puts it at right around a Category 2 to 3 strength. Of course, expected to weaken as it churns out into the Atlantic and becomes a fish storm, as it's expected to avoid the homeland and avoid Bermuda altogether. But with the good comes the bad, of course, right? It's still expected to cause dangerous surf and rip currents along the beaches of the Carolinas, Bermuda, and Atlantic Canada during the next several days. So beachgoers, I would suggest you don't go to the beach, but of course, I'm not going to tell you what to do, free country, but I would suggest you avoid the beaches altogether if you don't want to be swept up by rip currents. Now, storm surge flooding and tropical storm conditions are going to be expected in the North Carolina Outer Banks beginning late Wednesday or even on Wednesday night, where tropical storm and storm surge warnings are now in effect. The storm surge will be accompanied by large waves, leading to significant beach erosion and overwash, making some roads impassable. So basically, Erin is just going to be bringing dangerous ocean conditions and bring tropical storm kind of conditions over here in eastern North Carolina and even over here by Bermuda. So definitely use caution out there. It's not going to make direct impact, but you will still feel the effects of it. So definitely be aware of this by Wednesday morning into Wednesday evening, and it can potentially hit later or earlier. It just depends, and I'll keep y'all informed, of course, as I always say, on X and on Facebook. And we can see the peak surge of what y'all could be coming in on. I'd say right around 1 to 3 feet to possibly 2 to 4 feet here. So the Pamlico and Pungo rivers are going to be at 1 to 3 feet. Neuse and Bay rivers right around 1 to 3 feet. So it's going to be causing some storm surge and dangerous ocean conditions on top of a lot of heavy rainfall. We can see going to be just missing the rainfall, but still going to be getting some significant rainfall from it. And even here in the Smoky Mountains, going to be getting some rain from that as well. In Bermuda, you're going to be getting the slam dunk from it, so definitely watch out for this if you live in a low-lying area, of course, and heed the warnings, as this is going to remain a hurricane all the way through Friday and turn out into the Atlantic and become a fish storm and still really cause dangerous ocean conditions anywhere here along the east coast of the United States and even up here by Canada. Now, other than Erin, we have even more chances of tropical cyclone activity, as we have a 60% chance up from yesterday, as it was a 40% chance yesterday, and we have another one right behind it, as that one is a 30% chance. Now, before we get into those, we got to take a look at the Eastern Pacific, see if there's anything out there, and it's all fun in the sun out there for Hawaii. Y'all are good to go out there, nothing to worry about in the next 7 days, so that is some very, very good news. I know most of the kiddos have went back to school this week, but if your school hasn't went back in session yet and you're taking vacations out there, this is a good week to do it, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the 60% chance and the 30% chance of tropical cyclone development. And as we take a look at the satellite, we can see Hurricane Erin out there churning along, not expected to impact land, but still going to be providing tropical storm kind of conditions and dangerous ocean conditions out here by North Carolina and Bermuda, and really anywhere here along the east coast of the United States, as well as up here by Canada. Now, other than that, we do got to worry about the 60% chance and the 30% chance behind it. As you can see, these are expected to intensify rapidly as we head into the next 7 days. Why I'm saying that is because of the sea surface temperatures. We can see that as I pause this and look at the current map, which hasn't been updated since Sunday, and today is Tuesday, so let's fast forward this to Tuesday actually. So Tuesday at 2 o'clock, let's say, the Gulf of America is always hot because those are shallower waters, and out here in the main development region, the reason why these waters ain't as hot as what the Gulf is because it's obviously deeper waters, obviously. But you can see Hurricane Erin working over these favorable sea surface temperatures, which, as I rewind this, actually show y'all why it turned into a Category 5 real quick, is because it interacted with these very, very favorable sea surface temperatures. It didn't have any Saharan dust to suppress it either, and I think that's why it's sort of weakening down a little bit now, is because it's got that Saharan dust interacting with it, and it's coming closer to land as well. That's at least a couple reasons why it's decreasing in strength. And of course you can see as we move into today at, let's say, 2 o'clock, we can see that we do still have some favorable sea surface temperatures for tropical storm or even hurricane development here in the main development region. And as we push this even further into the future, let's say into the weekend, we're definitely going to be remaining hot out there in the main development region, although Hurricane Erin did work over those conditions here out by Bermuda. It's still relatively favorable for development out there and maintaining strength of those potential tropical storms or even hurricanes in the future. Now, speaking of Saharan dust, take a look at this real quick before we take a look at whether or not those tropical cyclones will turn into anything. And we can see here, we got that Saharan dust out here just west of Africa, and we have Hurricane Erin out here spinning along, getting wrapped up in that Saharan dust, and it's sort of choking it off a little bit. And you can see that those tropical cyclone chances out here in the main development region are going to avoid that Saharan dust by a little hair. Now that can will change obviously, so we'll be keeping you posted, but currently if this holds up, then it's looking like those cyclones will avoid some Saharan dust potentially, as the Saharan dust starts to somewhat go away and we have some development out there. Now, speaking of those tropical cyclones, we're going to take a look at the long-range model. Please keep in mind this is the long-range model. A lot of clickbaiters use this one. And as we take a look at the simulated infrared radar, we can see we got Hurricane Erin, which is wrapped in Saharan dust, currently expected to be choked off and weakened down a little bit, but still going to remain a hurricane as it impacts North Carolina and Bermuda and turns out there into the Atlantic and becomes a fish storm, but still cause impacts here to the east coast of the United States and up here by Canada. And of course we could see down here we got that 60% chance and that 30% chance of tropical cyclone development as we head into the weekend. It's not looking like those will actually turn into anything, but keep in mind anything will change this far out. But as we take a look at something y'all are more familiar with, which is the simulated radar, show y'all the most updated model here. Of course, we got Erin that beat the dead horse on. We can see that 60% chance and 30% chance out here, which I'm not expecting those to turn into anything because I'm thinking they're going to get choked off by that Saharan dust, but can and obviously will change between now and by the time we head into this weekend, which I would expect by this weekend we should know more about whether or not these systems will turn into anything. So you should always be monitoring the tropics this time of year anyways. We are in the meat and potatoes of hurricane season from August all the way out into October. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the tropics. If you're anywhere along the coast of the United States and anywhere here in these islands down here, as we could have rapid development here in the near term as long as that Saharan dust goes away and those sea surface temperatures start heating back up again, then we could expect some rapid intensity here in the near term. So now that I covered that, let's go ahead and get into the alerts of what we could expect for today and really for the next week or so. You can see that we got heat advisories issued up here by Montana and heat warnings for the southwest and the mid-south regions. Click on one of these actually, we can see that dangerous heat is going to be continuing today as heat warnings are going to be issued through 8 p.m. Central Time. So by the time y'all are watching this video, heat warnings should be done for. And we also got some severe weather, low wind threat, nothing really too much to worry about, but still significant severe weather can still happen on low wind days. And you can see there's going to be some heat relief by midweek as we are inching closer to fall time. We're about 34 days away from fall time, y'all, so get excited. And we'll have a fall outlook up on Thursday, so stay tuned, y'all. We can say that temperatures will begin trending down each day this week. High temperatures will be in the upper 80s and low 90s beginning Thursday. Heat indices will be largely 100 degrees and below beginning Thursday. So inching closer to fall time, y'all. It's going to be feeling like it here very soon. And the southwest, going to be extreme heat Wednesday through Saturday. So not any relief for quite some time actually. But don't worry. Going to be getting some relief very, very, very soon as we inch closer to fall time. Because as you can see, the Climate Prediction Center has issued well below average temperatures here amongst the Great Lakes and upper Midwest regions, and really much of the central and eastern half of the country is in some sort of below average temperatures as we head towards the end of the month. But of course, as you can see, the western half of the country up into the northwest down here into Florida, going to be well above average, feeling like summertime out there, obviously. Next 8 to 14 days, we can see as we inch closer to fall time, and we can see September is finally in the picture. We can see majority of the country is in near normal to below average temperatures, unless you live up here in the northwest and anywhere here in this southern half of the country from Arizona down into Florida. So we're going to be feeling some cool fall-like air, y'all. But don't be fooled, because this could be our second false fall and heading into what could be our third summer. So don't be fooled by these below average temperatures. Although we are heading into September and inch closer to fall time, it is a nice sight to see though, because we have been dealing with a very, very, very hot summer. And before we get into the temperatures, what we could expect, we can see there is a slight risk for hazardous temperatures from the 26th into the 27th for the northwestern part of the country, where y'all are going to be dealing with above average temperatures all the way out into the end of the month and potentially into the beginning of September. So let's go ahead and get into that. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures for today, we can see the reason why they issued the heat warnings here in the mid-south, southwest, as well as the heat advisories here up by Montana. I'm dealing with very, very hot temperatures for much of the country, about 100-degree temperatures to be exact, almost as far north as the Canadian border. And as we move into tomorrow, really much the same story. Still going to be dealing with some hot temperatures here in the central and western part of the country. Cooling off a little bit here in the Great Lakes and Northeast though. Some signs of fall up here. And then on Thursday, when I'm doing my fall outlook, it's going to be feeling a little bit like fall here in the Northeast and Great Lakes region, and especially up here by Canada. Y'all are starting to cool down a little bit as those birds are starting to migrate south. That's right, birds are starting to migrate, y'all. The beginning parts of migration starts the end of August and continues all the way out into November. I'll be breaking that down in my fall outlook video as well, by the way, so stay tuned. But we can see as we inch closer towards the weekend and into next week, we're going to be cooling down more and more and more as we head into next week. You can see that crisp, cool air coming down. It's going to be feeling more like winter for most of y'all, especially up here in Canada. So enjoy it if you like the cool air, but of course, if you hate the cool air, then I guess you're going to be freezing your tuchus off. But I hope you get that pumpkin spice at Walmart or Target or wherever you get it, because I'm sure most stores have pumpkin spice now. Starbucks and Dunkin' should be releasing those very soon as well, so be some good mornings for some hot coffee, that's for sure. And we're going to be actually dealing with some very cool air for about a whole week or so next week, so enjoy it. That's why the Climate Prediction Center issued the risk that they did for below average temperatures. But don't expect it to last though, because it could be a false fall again. So we're going to be heading into potentially a third summer. As you can see, Mother Nature's fooling us again. You can see we're going to be dealing with some very hot temperatures here as we head into September. But Canada will change, of course. Now as we zoom into the northwest, and I'm going to show you what temperatures y'all could be coming in on up there from the 26th into the 28th, since they did issue a slight risk for hazardous temperatures up there. You can see that on the 26th, definitely going to be coming in on almost 100-degree temperatures the next couple of days. But then after that, I would expect a drastic cool down from there. You can see the apparent temperatures on the 26th. You can see near 100-degree temperatures. So it's definitely going to be sweltering out there as we're going to be actually cooling down here out east and going to be remaining hot up there in the northwest. Unfortunately, y'all are going to be jealous of us down here in the eastern part of the country while you're all going to be sweating your tuchuses off. So don't be hating, y'all. Now, as far as precipitation goes, you may have saw on the thumbnail that we are going to be drying out here out east, and it's looking like it will here in the Midwest, but remaining soggy here in the southwest and parts of the east coast part of the country. Now, I did say there's going to be some monsoonal rains down here in the southwest, which we'll get into here in a little bit. And as far as the next 8 to 14 days goes, see that we're going to be near normal, getting out of the below normal precipitation here in the Midwest, but remaining above average out west and for really much of the country, unless you live down here in southern Texas and southern Louisiana. And as we take a look at the risk of heavy precipitation here amongst the lower 48, see there's a slight risk for heavy precipitation down here in the southwest and a slight risk up here in the central plains heading into the Midwest from the 26th and the 28th. And we can see that we could be coming in on monsoon rains down there. So let's go ahead and get into that. Now we can see today we got to keep an eye on Erin, as it's expected to move on in by Wednesday and bring some dangerous conditions here in eastern North Carolina, and it's going to be bringing some soggy conditions here amongst the eastern part of the country. Once that moves out, it looks like we're going to just remain soggy here out east, and we're going to be coming in on some monsoonal rains here in the southwest. It's going to be very, very soggy out there as we head towards the end of the month. Drying out here in the Ohio Valley region, severe weather here in the Texas Panhandle, and some spotty showers here in the northeast. And then we're going to be starting to pile on in precipitation from Idaho down into Texas, as we could have a train of severe thunderstorms all the way out towards the end of the month. The reason why we're saying we could have some severe weather here at the end of the month is because we're going to have that cool air coming in and that warm air right behind it, and that could fuel severe thunderstorms here in the southern plains. I'll keep y'all posted though on X and Facebook if anything does happen and does change between now and then, but we could be coming into an uptick in some severe weather towards the end of the month. And we can see, of course, 300 some hours out, the GFS loves to print hurricanes this far out. This won't happen. Keep this in mind. Fake forecast won't happen, but can happen. The sea surface temperatures here in the Gulf are very, very hot because they are shallow waters, but I'll be keeping my eye on it for y'all just in case that happens. So basically here, rewinding this, we got Erin moving in, bringing a lot of precipitation here to the east coast of the United States, and really dangerous conditions here in eastern North Carolina. We're bringing a lot of heavy precipitation here out east for the short term. Then as we head out of the weekend, we're going to be drying out here out east, spotty showers here in the northeast, monsoon rains in the southwest. Then we're going to have severe thunderstorms all the way from the Texas Panhandle, all the way up into Colorado and potentially up here by Idaho. And we're going to be drying out here in the northwest. And then we're going to be drying out west, but then we're going to be coming in on some spotty showers here out east with a potential system down here in the Gulf, which won't happen because this is well over 300 some hours out. Keep this in mind. And lastly, before we wrap up this video, show y'all the precipitation which y'all could be coming in on down here in the southwest, since you are supposed to be coming in on some monsoonal rains here at the end of the month. I would expect we head into the August 30th time frame. Keep in mind this is 200 some hours out. Anything over 100 hours out is pretty much unreliable at this point, but as we take a look at the National Blended Models, one of the most reliable models you can use, we can see right around 2 to 4 inches of heavy precipitation here from Arizona all the way up into Texas. And as we take a look at the East Coast, we can see that actually as we rewind this to after Erin moves out by, let's say, Thursday, we can see that not as bad as what I would think, but still going to be dealing with some very dangerous ocean conditions out there and a lot of heavy rainfall here in eastern North Carolina. And really after Erin moves through, we're definitely going to be coming in on a lot of heavy precipitation here amongst the East Coast, and especially the southern plains. You can see a lot of dark red over here on the map. You can see right around close to 5 inches of heavy precipitation as we head into right around the 29th time frame. That's why they issued the risk of heavy precipitation that they did. They issued a slight risk within this time frame. So pretty much we're going to be dealing with a lot of heavy precipitation here in the southwest and the central part of the country, as well as the East Coast, but we're going to dry out here in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, as well as the Northwest. So to wrap up this video, basically we're going to be cooling down here in the short and even long term, as we're going to be dealing with some fall-like temperatures as we head towards the end of the month, at least here in the central and eastern part of the country. But unfortunately, if you live up here in the northwest and southwest, you're still going to be coming in on those above average temperatures, where it's going to be still feeling like summertime out there. And as far as precipitation goes, did cover this, but we are going to be drying out here in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, while the East Coast, Southwest, and Central Plains is going to be dealing with a lot of heavy precipitation and some potential monsoon rains here in the Southwest as well. And as far as the tropics go, obviously got Erin out there. Got to monitor that if you live anywhere here along the East Coast of the United States and Canada, and especially in eastern North Carolina. So please be mindful of this, as ocean conditions are going to be very dangerous. And we also got to be mindful of the 60% and 30% chance of development over here in the main development region. I'm not expecting these to turn into anything, but that can and will change. The reason why I say that is because of some Saharan dust taking hold of these systems and choking the life force out of them and not turning into anything. But of course, can and will change. Keep y'all updated on X and Facebook, of course. So make sure you check those pages out. I would greatly appreciate it. So I hope each and every one of y'all enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate it if you like and share the video. Helps more than you know. Also, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as any feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, because at Here Wins Weather we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. I also have a Rumble channel. It's WilliamsWX98 if you want to go check that out as well. And I will have a fall outlook up on Thursday, so make sure you check that video out, as we are going to be feeling like fall as we head into this weekend and even past this weekend and into September. So get excited, y'all. We're about 3-some days away. Pumpkin spice season is pretty much here. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all y'all for watching. If you're in the path of Erin, please be aware of that. And until next time, never stop forecasting.